Let's talk about the floodlight too, and I'll go grab one of my floodlights, the original floodlight, and then we'll compare them. I've also got the spotlights, as you guys can see, and I'm fairly well versed in the spotlights and also in the floodlights. Let's grab this guy. Okay, got the original one washed up, cleaned up a little bit, and you can already tell a dramatic difference in the size. That's wild. Much bigger. Everywhere, actually. Bigger bracket, bigger housing, more LEDs. And the reason I say that is because I can count these here. On here, I know that there's only 6 because I've seen these turned on. I've counted it. But yeah, so a substantial amount more LEDs. This thing just looks way more robust. How many holes do we have? Okay, we've got 4 holes here. I would imagine it's the same here, right? Yeah. And yeah, 4 holes here. Is this bigger? Dude, is the... No, I guess that's about the same. There seems to be more copper on the floodlight 2 inside of the 4 holes. Let me look at this in person instead of looking at it on a camera. Dare I say the holes are just slightly bigger on the floodlight 2? I'm going to get these hooked up to power and we'll compare them on the wall. I can't tell you that the control box looks the exact same. What I'd like to know though is the wattage. So this is a class 2 power supply and it outputs 24 volts, 2 amps. And so this one is also class 2, 24 volt, 1.5 amps. So yeah, there's more amperage on the floodlight 2. So since we just learned that there's more amperage on the Govee floodlight 2, I'm going to see if I can hook up the original floodlight to here and see what we get. That way we can at least have 2 amps on this guy and 2 amps on here. Obviously, it's not going to be a full 2 amps because it gets distributed amongst 4 lights, but for the sake of this test, I'm just going to hook up these 2. Well, interestingly, it's not going to be a fair test because when I hook up the original floodlight so that it can be on the higher power adapter, because as we saw earlier, this one's giving out 2 amps at 24 volts. It's not in sync at all. It's just doing whites over here. So whatever independent control message is being sent from the board just isn't communicating correctly with the light. So unfortunately, I can't really tell. What I'm going to try to do is hook up to Bluetooth with the Govee app and see if I can't just change these both to white or to red and see if maybe it'll then get a signal. But this is what's happening default. Just plugged them in. I haven't opened up the Govee app and this seems to be just receiving a message that says change to white only. I did hook up another Govee 2 down the line to see if maybe it was supposed to do color, and white, but that was not the case. So whatever signal's being sent, just not communicating correctly. Color on camera is, let me rephrase that, color output, the brightness right now in person, this one is the clear winner. I went in the Govee app, paired it, and set them both up. This one in person is just blindingly bright. This one over here, I can see. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's see if you guys can see that. In there is this top row and this bottom row that has no light output. So I'm guessing that the white LEDs are in the middle and the RGB is on the outside of it and the whites are in the middle. Here, I don't know. Not able to see inside. Yeah, I can't see inside there with the video. I'd have to pry it open. But what a crazy difference. This is also not a fair comparison. When I change these to red, this goes purple over here, and this has seemed to be the closest I can get to these two acting correctly. If I change this one to rainbow, this one just changes to white, and so it's just a mixed bag, and it's not fair because obviously this light is supposed to be on a different controller, and it's supposed to be on 1.5 amps. So, all that to say, yes, this color white is different. This is more blue. This is more natural. But if we're just going to compare brightness, only the brightness, not the color, then yeah, this one is brighter, which it seems strange. I'm going to keep playing with the app and see if I can't get a different matchup here. So now this one is on a more natural white, but as you guys can see here, this just changes to a dim purple. And when we change it to the natural white color in the Govee app for the Floodlight 2, then yes, this one is brighter than what this one was earlier when it was just plain white. You can definitely see a more of a hot spot on here when compared to earlier in the video to this one over here. So they're brighter. It's bigger, unfortunately, for some of us that would prefer a smaller package. You know, that's something to consider, is that these are much bigger, as you saw earlier in the video, much taller, and frankly, they do feel more industrial. It feels much more rigid compared to the original Floodlight. Let's turn these off. Looking at the side bracket here, you can tell that, oh, that's warm. Wow. And yeah, as mentioned earlier, those middle LEDs there, the ones that you can't really see, that's the WW, that's the white and warm white. But yeah, the bracket is much more industrial too. So, you know, playing around with it a little bit, would I recommend the two? Yeah, definitely. If you are in the market for some floodlights, obviously I'm a fan of Govee. It's all over my house. But, you know, if you're in the market for some floodlights, I would go for Floodlight 2. If you have the original floodlights, I mean, is it worth upgrading? You know, you have to take everything out. Now me, I didn't have these wires in the ground. I was actually going to be burying them in the ground to have more of a cleaner appearance and more of an aesthetic outside. So if you already have that, no, man, I don't think it's worth it to have to pull up all your wires, change out the controls and yada, yada, you know. First world problems, you know, if you're down here trying to make this decision, congratulations, because clearly financially you're in a good spot. So you can't go wrong either way. Both of them are awesome. I haven't played with all of the new stuff here. There's a bunch of different themes that the 2 has compared to the original. And just for poops and giggles, computer, turn on the dining room. See, I clearly have a Govee obsession. It's just ridiculous. Guys, links are down in the description. If you like this video, please let me know what you would like to see different. If you didn't like this video, let me know why you didn't like it. That way I can improve. And then last but not least, let's say it one more time. Links are down in the description of where I got mine from. So shout out to Amazon.